got this USB plug right here. It's gonna be hooked up on the radio. Now, on this Honda Prelude, this steel framing right here, any of these bolt holes, like there's one right here, there's one in the back right there, there's one right here, and on these sides, basically you can screw a nut and a bolt in there, like I did, right here, to ground something. And I already tested this with a continuity tester, but I stuck a continuity test lead in this negative side, and then I touched all the parts of the car, and it's basically grounded as long as it's bolted to this thing. Okay, so there's your ground. Now, on this wire right here, it's 16 gauge, and I just crimped a connector on one end of it. I think it's 20 feet long. Look how long it is. And then on the other end of it, I actually soldered right here, but I bought one of these connectors right here, these jumpers, and soldered it and double shrink tubed it right there. And this is 16 gauge wire that's made onto it, and that's why I bought 16 gauge wire right here. So anyways, one end of it has this soldered on, and that's a 5 amp fuse, and then the other end of it just has this little crimper crimped to it. And then I'm just doing this to test everything to see if I'm getting it working. Now, next step is to find an empty fuse slot that is for accessories, because you have two types of fuses. You have constant power, and then you have accessory power that turns on whenever the key's on. So, all right, long story short, got this sucker working right here. Okay, so like I said, you can ground to this framing right here in the center console. Any of those little holes that you find, you can bolt anything to it. I mean, there's even one up there on the top. All right, so this is your ground, this framing. And then right here, I basically went into accessories. I'll show you on this. Okay. This one right here at the top says ACC accessory. That's what I tapped into. And you see my little thing there. Basically the red one, the 10 amp, that is, going to accessory. That's the normal one. Then the 5 amp, that's going to, that's the jumper. The only downside is I don't think this little clip thing's gonna go back in there. But the cover should fit back over it and everything. But I'll go ahead and show y'all. You see, it's this little guy down here is off. And turn the key. It's kind of hard. Let me see, it just comes on. It's supposed to have a voltage meter on it. It's 2 USBs. So those things reading at 12.1. But you have to wire these this is going to be behind the stereo. You have to wire these up to accessories so that way it goes off when you turn the key off. It's not draining the battery. So basically I got it wired up right. Next step is all this wire right here. Hold on. You love it when your key gets stuck. Next step is to take all this wire right here, and I'm gonna run it through the dash and everything, but I'm gonna cut it. And this little connector I got right here, I'm basically gonna cut it and make the wire shorter and crimp another one of those on the end of it to stick back on here. So yeah, I was just testing it, just to trying to test it as fast as possible. And I left the wires long like that so that I could go ahead and wire everything up and try to find my power source. Now that I know where my power source is, I can shorten my wire. But I'm gonna shorten the wire and tuck it all back there, and yeah, somehow. But yeah, got it all figured out. Alright, I ended up putting my ground right here just because it was easy to get to with tools to tighten the nut and everything. The one that I had way back here was real hard to get to. So anyways, I got my ground to get everything set up. I'm just gonna put the radio in there like that. And that red wire is 6 feet long. And it's just wait for me to plug it in right there. It's already tucked and everything. Everything's tucked. So right here you can see me MIRACAST and what I'm filming. See?